Financing Activities, Part 3. We have discussed that finances are essential for any business organization, and financial management includes arranging these finances from different sources, external and internal, and then from equity and debt. We talked about equity financing, where we discussed common shareholders and preferred shareholders who provide financing to a business organization. Now, the second part is related to what is called debt financing. Again, debt financing is divided into two portions. We can say that we can classify debt into two. One is that type of debt which is taken from one organization, bank, financial institution, leasing company, or any other similar financial institution. And the other type of debt is which is generated from the general public, meaning that a small amount, small contribution is taken from individuals, and collectively it makes the total amount of debt that we require. If I give a simple example, suppose again, if in our business entity we need 1 million rupees, so one way to get this 1 million is go to a bank and ask for the terms of loan and get that 1 million rupee. And the second is that we ask the general public to purchase a security, a debt security, which is called a bond, which is a generic term used for it. And every person who will purchase a bond of 100 rupees will contribute towards our debt. And once we issue 10,000 bonds, each of 100 rupees, we will be able to generate 1 million rupees. This is what is called a public debt. Now, what is the difference between a loan and a public debt? A bank is basically what is called a financial intermediary. That is, the financing is actually with the people who have got their savings, and the requirement is with the business organization. But directly the people cannot approach these business organizations, so they deposit their money in banks, and banks have funds which they ultimately distribute as loans to various business organizations. So they act as intermediaries. But that is the business of a bank. बैंक पैसा कैसे कमाता है? वो अपने डिपॉजिटर्स को जो रिटर्न देता है उसका रेट कम रखता है, और जब वो लोन देता है किसी बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को तो उसका रेट ज़्यादा रखता है, और इस डिफरेंस ऑफ रेट से वो प्रॉफिट कमाता है. दिस इज़ व्हाट वी कॉल द स्प्रेड ऑफ बैंक. जब एक बिजनेस डायरेक्टली लोगों के पास जाता है फाइनेंसिंग लेने के लिए, डेट फाइनेंसिंग लेने के लिए इन द फॉर्म ऑफ बॉन्ड, तो वो उस इंटरमीडियरी को एलिमिनेट करता हुआ डायरेक्टली लोगों से पैसा जनरेट करता है. We'll talk about it in detail in the later parts of our course. The interest that we have to pay as return on the debt is sometimes fixed at the time of deal, at the time of taking a loan. In the terms it is written that it will be a fixed percentage. कई दफ़ा ये रेट ऑफ रिटर्न जिसे हम इंटरेस्ट कहते हैं अमूमी तौर पर, ये लिंक कर दिया जाता है किसी और रेट के साथ. फॉर एग्जांपल, many a times it is linked with what is called KIBOR. KIBOR stands for Karachi Interbank Offered Rate, which is every day the rate has been announced, and banks would relate it a certain plus percentage to KIBOR, and so the final interest rate is determined. Similarly, banks would always also relate it to what is called prime rate of return. That is the best rate, the minimum rate of interest that a bank would offer to somebody, and that is called the prime rate. So an organization want to get financing from a bank, they will have to pay something plus that prime rate. So a floating rate of interest is one that keeps on floating, keeps on changing, because the KIBOR, because the underlying percentage rate. अगर KIBOR बदल रहा है तो आपका पे करने वाला इंटरेस्ट भी बदल जाएगा, बिकॉज बैंक इज चार्जिंग लेट्स से 3% above KIBOR. So if the KIBOR is 7%, you'll have to pay 10%. If the KIBOR is 6%, you'll have to pay 9%. So इस तरह जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट डिटरमिन होता है उसको हम फ्लोटिंग रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कहते हैं. द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिस्कशन जिसको हम आगे चल के और तफसील के साथ करेंगे, दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. ये जो डेट है, ये जो लोन है, जब एक बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लोन लेती है, डेट लेती है, बोरो करती है, देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन, जनरल क्वेश्चन, इज इट गुड और बैड? सम पीपल वुड से दैट नो, इट इज बैड, इट इज नॉट गुड टू टेक अ लोन. लेकिन ऐसी बात नहीं है. It is good to take a loan because it creates what is called financial leverage. And again, we'll have more detailed discussions on financial leverage, but at this point, let me explain the basic concept of financial leverage. It is simply the difference between what we have to pay to the fund provider. जो बैंक को हम rate of interest pay करते हैं किसी लोन के ऊपर, और उस लोन को अपने बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट करके उस पर जो प्रॉफिट अर्न करते हैं, जब ये प्रॉफिट उस इंटरेस्ट रेट से ज़्यादा होता है तो फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज क्रिएट होता है. दैट इज, इफ वी आर बोरोइंग एट 10% पर एनम and we are earning 15% on that amount of loan, then this additional 5% that we have earned would be added to the profit of shareholders, equity holders, and their rate of return will be enhanced because of this loan that they have taken from a bank or a financial institution. So it is good to have financial leverage, but there are some question marks. There are some conditions that we need to see that while we are creating a leverage in a firm. And that condition is that how much is the rate of interest that we are paying and how much is the capacity of an organization to earn. Because a positive difference creates a financial leverage, but a negative difference would create this opposite leverage and hence may affect the return of the equity holders.